Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Thank you for stopping by. As you can tell by the title, this is going to be an interesting video. It's something that the Lord has laid on my heart, and I've sort of been sitting on it for a bit, but I just kept hearing it over and over in my spirit. Keep in mind that this word is not for everybody. It does not apply to everyone. It does not apply to every mother. Okay, and so therefore I feel that whoever hears this message, you're going to know in your spirit whether this applies to you as a mother, or if you are the one experiencing these things. I believe that it will answer questions that many daughters may be experiencing, and things that's sort of coming to light, whether as you're growing up as a young adult, a young lady, young adult, or as you're older. There's some things that sort of you've seen and you've picked up on with your relationship with your mother, and you're sort of denying it and you're saying, no, it can't be. Not only that, you don't really have a platform or a place to express this, because you saying that you have a jealous mother or even an evil mother, that is just taboo. That is just crazy. Most of the times you're going to be chastised for thinking such a thing, because that is just not how it's supposed to be. And a lot of times people are going to kind of make their own references of their own relationships with their mothers, and maybe the love and the support that they have. They can't imagine having a mother this way because their mother was not. And so a lot of times as believers, we have to be careful, right? Because we can think everybody's mother is like our mother. Everybody's dad is like our dad. You know, everybody has a loving parent. Everybody has a loving child, or a loving, father or mother. And so you cannot imagine not having that close-knit relationship with your mother or your father, your parents, based on how they love you. And so because of how they loved you and they cared for you and how they were just there, you mirror what they had, what they gave to you. So you can't see it and you can't imagine it because you've never experienced it. And what you're able to give is because of what they've put inside of you. And so you reflect what they've instilled inside. So we have to be very careful that when you hear people who may be separated from their parents, that don't have a very close relationship, we cannot be judgmental and say, oh, how could you? I can't believe you. Because a lot of times the ones that say those things and they speak that way against others, it's normally the ones that grew up, they do not have that same experience. They've never been raped by their father. They've never been molested by their mother. They've never have a sort of mommy dearest type of mother. You know, if you ever seen that movie, she was just a horrible person. They don't have those type of experience. They have not been neglected. They have not been abandoned by their mother or father. They have not had a mother that just repeatedly let their boyfriend rape them, or threw their son out for their boyfriends, or anything like that. So they have their whole references on the white picket fence, or maybe not the white picket fence, but a much better relationship than somebody else. So with that, we must be very careful. So a lot of times people do not have a sounding board. Children, sons as well, they don't have a sounding board in which to express, because people are always going to default to say, well, that's your mother, that's your father, you got to do right by them. Well, how do you tell a young man to do right by his daddy that's been raping him? How do you do that? How do you tell a young man to do right by his father who forces him to perform oral sex on him at a young age? Because these young men, grown up now, some of them experience those things. What do you do when a mother repeatedly molests her daughter? How do you say, just suck it up? So we must be very, very careful of these things. And so one of the things that is very difficult to prove is having a jealous mother. But the Lord has laid it on my heart today to talk about this and to let you know he sees everything. He sees everything. And no, you're not crazy. No, what the Lord has revealed to you and what you suspected and you were afraid to even utter out of your mouth, God is saying it is there. So there's a few things that I want to stay on task. There are 4 points I believe the Lord has given me to share. There are 4 examples. And while the examples may not be exactly like what you're going through, there's some characteristics, telling characteristics about jealous mothers that I'm going to talk about today. The first example that the Lord gave me was 2 Kings chapter 11, 1 through 3. And in this, it talks about Athaliah. And Athaliah, she was the mother. Athaliah was actually the daughter of Ahab and Jezebel. And she became the wife of Jehoram, which was the king of Judah, right? And after her son died, Ahaziah, when he was killed by Jehu in battle, she wanted to usurp and to take over the throne. And Ahaziah had many sons. His own mother turned around and killed all of his sons except for one, and the reason why she could not get that last one, which was what was that young man's name? Joash. Okay, she could not get him because she wanted to kill, there was a youngest child, and so she couldn't find him. And the reason why Athaliah was not able to kill the son was because Ahaziah's sister hid this child. She hid herself and she hid that child and took him to the priest later on, and he was kept hidden for a long time. But for several years, about 7 or 8 years, Athaliah, she reigned and she was queen. She was queen. Yes, she was. So what happens, guys? Jealous mothers will wait until you're in a place of vulnerability, a place where you're very vulnerable. And this is where you're going to see their true colors. Sometimes, the whole time, they have a way of being very subtle and very stealth with their behaviors. They can raise you for a long time and have this passive, aggressive way of being that is very hard to detect by others. Over the years, as you're growing up as a young woman, there are things that mother is looking at. She's taking note of every disappointment and everything that you've done, the good, the bad, whether you agreed with her on something or not. There's so many little things, and sometimes you're growing up so beautifully. Sometimes these mothers are simply jealous of your youth and your carefree spirit. And so they can stay this way for a very, very long time. And unless you have discernment, you're not going to see it. Neither will anyone else. Because a jealous mother does not want to be discovered. Sometimes a jealous mother can be very, very sweet and kind in certain instances. But when you are in places where you are vulnerable and you are down and out, it truly depends on her disposition at that moment and how she is feeling about some things. But most times when you are down, she is going to pounce. This is the time you have been injured, you have been hurt some way, emotionally let down. They thrive in these moments. And just like Athaliah did when her son Ahaziah was killed by Jehu, she's immediately thinking, I've got to get rid of these children. I've got to get rid of all his sons so I can take over. Well, let's consider, how long has Athaliah had this in her heart? There was no sign or clue that that Ahaziah was going to die. He had all these sons, and she's been in that household watching him raise his children, probably with the kids. But sometimes jealous mothers wait for that opportunity, and you'll be surprised. Sometimes money, when it comes to insurance money or money in general, or when some money and some opportunities come down, you will sometimes see this part of them that just comes out. But all along, she had the ability to kill all of them. How? Because nobody was in a place of defense. She is a trusted member of the family, and yet she was able to kill all of his sons except for one. They pounce at moments when you are the most vulnerable, when you are down, when you are wounded. They will pounce in some way. Sometimes it's not going to be in this extreme way that we read about, but it'll be other ways. How? Sometimes they're going to embrace the people that hurt you. Other times they're going to be neutral about those that hurt you. They don't want to be on that person's bad side. They want to keep their doors open. And so they're never going to just protect you and stand with you. Jealous mothers have a way of keeping the doors to your enemies open. Why? They share a commonality, which is to hurt you. They share a commonality in having a heart that can just switch up. And one of the things, as I said, is it can also be, they can also attack you with words. Words can be spoken. Snide remarks can be made when you're down. Those remarks that if you address it, they'll shimmy away from it. This is one of the characteristics of a jealous mother. Another thing is going to be in 2 Kings chapter 6, 24 through 30. Another example. This is an event that took place where two mothers agreed to boil and eat their children. They were in the city of Samaria, and it was under siege, and food was scarce and maybe even non-existent. These two mothers agreed to boil and eat their sons. And why is this significant today? Why is this significant in this situation? Is that jealous mothers are willing to sacrifice you. They will boil and eat you. They will sacrifice you for their own benefit. When they're in a place where there might be hard times, because they carried you in their womb, because they carried you for 9 months, sometimes they believe that they have all rights to do things that would really destroy you, that can really be detrimental to you. They will feel, after all I've done, after how many hours of labor I went through, after all the complications I went through, for all the diapers that I changed. That's why you hear a lot of mothers say that. And we should not say things like that to our children, because you're getting a God-like mentality. And we have to think, what if God said that to us? What if he did a rundown of all the things? Whenever we get in his presence, he just gives us an itemized checklist of all the things that he has done for us, things that we know about or don't know. So it is not a good thing to lay out everything you've done for your children, even though you feel that way, because it's not godly. It really is not. But what will happen is, when times are hard and times are difficult, when this mother is sometimes under strain, A jealous mother has a mindset of, you owe me. And they feel that you are at their disposal to do as they please, even in their most vulnerable and detrimental times. You are going to be the one that they're going to pass through the fire. This really is sort of very similar to what I just gave you about Athaliah. Except in this case, Athaliah was not in any hardships. She just saw an opportunity to cut in and do what she always wanted to do within her hearts. These women that I'm describing here in 2 Kings chapter 6, 24 through 30, are women who are, their things, their strains, their stuff that's going on with them. And they're like, I am going to eat my child. We're going to eat our kids. Now, one of them did it, okay? But another one was like, no, I can't do that. You see, sometimes jealous mothers is willing to do things, and they will boil you and eat you with somebody else. They're going to put your business out there. They are going to ridicule you. Sometimes these mothers would do things that's truly hurtful and harmful to you, and even allow others to jump in on that. Just like how this mother, she took the life of her child, boiled and ate it, and shared it with another woman. But see, that other lady was like, nah, I can't do that. And so you find that there are mothers, jealous mothers can do that. Depending on what's going on, whatever's going on in their life at the moment, they can put you right there. They will cut you up, eat you, maybe not physically, but they will allow others to join in with them and attack you and destroy you and break you down because of how she is feeling at the moment. A jealous mother, when she is not happy about herself, about her life, about how things turns out, when you are not doing the things that she feels like you should be doing, because her mindset is, I made you, I created you, I carried you. They will sacrifice you. They will dissect you. They will cut you down in the presence of others and with others. Why? I made you. You are less than me. This is the mindset of a mother, and of a mother that can be jealous because of your youth, because you may be doing better than she was doing. This is very possible. She can also be jealous of the fact that you have your own mind, because she was not able to have that mindset. She did not have that self-confidence that you had. And so she becomes jealous of that, rather than seeing this as an asset or a positive attribute that even she can guide you along the way with it. She begins to see you as an enemy. And therefore, jealousy can raise up. You see, jealous has no reason. Jealousy doesn't really need a good reason. It is the heart of the person. So any scenario that comes up, that mother can just be jealous of the child, be jealous of her daughter for different reasons. But a jealous mother was willing to dissect and destroy her own child and allow others to do things that they would not allow her to do, even with their own child. Another thing about jealous mothers, we're going to talk about Herodias in Mark chapter 6, verse 23. Herodias was married to Herod, and she had a thing for John the Baptist, meaning she wanted to get him because John the Baptist spoke very openly and matter of fact about her being married to her brother's. She was married to her husband's brother, and he told her this is unlawful. He spoke about this very clearly. Now, King Herod both respected John the Baptist, and he also had a fear. He did not want to hurt him or harm him because of his popularity among the people, and he also believed he was a man of God. So he would imprison him, but he would not necessarily hurt him. Herodias had something else in her heart. She had a vendetta against John the Baptist. And so her daughter danced for Herod on his birthday. And you'll find this in Mark chapter 6, verse 23 on. So she danced, Herodias' daughter danced for King Herod, and Herod promises her, says, anything you ask of me, I will give it to you, even to half of my kingdom. So the daughter doesn't know what to ask for. The fact that she does not know what to ask for lets you know that she was not thinking about taking John the Baptist's life. So she goes because she trusts her mother so much. She goes to her and says, what should I ask for? Well, Herodias tells her, ask for the head of John the Baptist on a platter. If this was in the heart of her daughter, she would have said this, but she did not. So her mother took this opportunity to get back at John the Baptist by doing what? Directing her daughter. This is her daughter dance. Her daughter is asking her, Mom, what should I do? What should I get? And rather than telling her daughter something or saying, well, what would you like? She says, this is what I want you to do, because she had her own agenda. A jealous mother will misdirect you. A jealous mother will upstage you. Her desire will be to upstage you. Your accomplishments, she will step in and upstage, not be proud of you, but use it as a platform for herself, for her own self-idealization. You will find that in cases with a jealous mother, you will accomplish some things and she will be so much into it. It's not that she's proud. It's like she makes that accomplishment her own. And while there's nothing necessarily wrong with it, you are somehow phased in the background. It's not about you. It's about, I made you. I carried you. You're going to do what I say to do. I want to make this moment about me. Jealous mothers, when you accomplish certain things, they come to your function, but it's really about outshining you. And this can be done in ways that's very stealth. It can be done by doting on you and appearing that they are so about you, but it's really about look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me. I'm not saying that mothers that do this, that they, they're not. They're mothers who they genuinely just love their daughters, but there's a different spirit behind it. There's some that they are at your event and they're there and they're looking glorious and fantastic, and there's nothing wrong if you have a mama that can dress her butt off. But the bottom line is, it's not the action as it is the heart of that mother. See me, see me, see me. It's all about them. It is all about them. And keep in mind, I'm not saying if you have a mother that can dress and that looks good and dotes over their daughters that they are jealous. Again, I say it is the heart, and it is hard to discern. You will see that normally these type of mothers, they have other little sketchy patterns throughout their life, but they are always careful to keep that part of them intact. And so it is about upstaging. It is about being center stage. It is about making your accomplishment and what you've done their own, and for their own gratification, and for what their own goals and what they want to do. And so this is what Herodias does. She knows her daughter trusts her, and so she advises her. She advises her in a way to do what? She advises her daughter to do something. These type of mothers will upstage the daughter, and they will advise them even to the detriment of others. These kind of mothers will always choose themselves over you every time. And whenever they do help you, don't mistake it. They have made a note. It will be rehashed because they have kept a record. This is a trait of a jealous mother. You see, sometimes a jealous mother is not, she's just looking at you going, oh, I don't like your hair. Oh, I don't like this. That may be one aspect of it. But there are mothers who are jealous who never say anything like that. They just operate in different ways, as I am describing today. Another thing, jealous mothers in Genesis 39. Sometimes they will seduce. Some women, young women, you have mothers who wants to seduce, like Potiphar's wife. They are mothers who are competing with their daughters. And so when the daughters bring home a young man, or she's married to this man, the mother's whole agenda is to get close to this man, because sometimes mothers could be attracted to the men that the daughter is dating or is engaged to or is married to. And so what she does is she seduces this man, maybe not necessarily in a sense of getting him in bed with her, while this does happen in some cases, but also by they will try to be a better version of you. So they will try to befriend this man and try to get very close to him. They want him to, your husband, the person that you're dating, to trust them and to come seek them. So what they want to do is kind of circumvent some things. They want, when there's a problem, they feel good if he will pick up the phone and call them and talk to them about you. And in some cases, you're not going to know they had that conversation, because it's not about you. It is about her and him. Sometimes they want to seduce him, not necessarily to sleep with him, but sometimes they want to seduce him to be like sort of what Samson was with Delilah. Delilah had the gift of getting Samson to pour out his heart. He found comfort in her presence. He would lay his head on her lap. There are mothers who are jealous of their daughters, and they will seduce your husband, will seduce this person that you are with, so they will trust them more. They will seek them out more. There are mothers who will never lay with your partner, but they like that they can get their heart. So they're going to go to your mother first. And so you find that your mother has all the keys and she knows all these different things that she is not sharing with you, because it's not about you and this person. It is about her and him, and maintaining her rapport with your husband or your boyfriend or whatever your relationship is. These are the traits of a jealous mother. She feels good on the inside to know, I can get his ear. He will listen to me. I can have side conversations with him without you. This is not a trait of a mother who's being open and honest. Why? Why would there be secrecy? Because there's something inside the heart of that mother that is not with you. And as I said before, you must be careful when they are allies with individuals, whether it is someone you dated, you were married to, or friends, and you fall out and they are still in close alliance with these individuals. Now, of course, parents are different. They're not gonna hate somebody just because you fell out, and sometimes they've known the person for a long time. They've been a part of the family, and so they know how to just, hey, something happened, and they know how to just keep a perfect balance. But there's an imbalance because they are willing sometimes, and I'm talking about cases where there's a great imbalance. where they keep a door open for this person, you're going to know the difference. Jealous mothers, because their heart is not with you, often fit perfectly with people who have hurt you, who have done you wrong, whose hearts are not with you, because they have a commonality. Because they have a commonality in the lack of respect, the lack of loyalty, the lack of faithfulness, and their ability to disconnect from you. That mother has that too. So she can easily attach to the man who's hurt you. She's easily attached to the woman who has hurt you. She can easily attach to others who have done you wrong. But you will find sometimes these mothers, they may not necessarily get close to females that hurt you. They're going to go against those females with you in some cases, or make those hard lines. But when they have a seducing type of spirit going on, they will stay in touch and keep on holding on to that man in your life and directing your husband in any direction as they see fit, because they have that ability to seduce him in spirit and in heart. Then you have the jealous mother who will physically sleep with, physically entice the man that you're with. And sometimes it is hard for you to grasp it because you don't want to believe it. But more and more you're seeing it. But who do you tell without being thought to be crazy? Another thing that I was saying, Potiphar's wife not only attempted to seduce Joseph, but she also falsely accused him when things did not go the way that she wanted it to go, when he took a stand. Jealous mothers can also influence others to go against you. Why did people just believe Potiphar's wife? Because of who she was, her position, who her husband is. And so there's no way you're going to try to tell me that this beautiful woman tried to talk to this regular boy. These are the things that jealous mothers will bank on. How could it be that your mother will be jealous of you? Or how would you're trying to tell me your mother did this or that, or you had to take a stand against your mother? People who are she's going to have the ability to influence people to go against you, not believe you. Could be your family, could be your siblings, could be someone you dare to tell them something, or you're trying to point out something. But she's very good at shifting. She is a spiritual shape shifter. So she's going to be able to influence people and use them against you, because simply by the merit that she is your mother, simply by the merit of her position, of how she portrays herself. And sometimes she can even cause the person that you are married to turn on you. She can cause your family to turn on you. She could cause your relatives to turn against you. Simply why? Because of who she is. And if she said it, then it's true. The last thing that I'm going to tell you, we're going to go to Genesis chapter 3, where it talks about Eve. Jealous mothers will influence you to do things, or attempt to influence you to do things that are wrong, and or will reject you if you do not do what they say to do. Eve was able to influence Adam to eat the fruit, even though Adam had been warned before Eve even came along on the scene. Eve partook in something, and now she gives it to Adam. Sometimes mothers who are jealous will do certain things that they know is wrong, but it's important that they sort of tarnish you. It's important that you do the things that I'm doing. I want you to make the same choices that I make. I want you to do the things that I'm telling you to do. You must take of this fruit. I'm your mother. You need to listen. The power of influence. And perhaps for some time it worked, regardless of what you knew within yourself. Like, this doesn't seem right, or that doesn't sound right. But you were silent and you were eating of that fruit that she gave you, because this is my mother. But at some point, you may be coming to the knowledge of the truth. Sometimes this may be happening now, or at some point as you get older, you have a different perspective. You have a different way of seeing things. And you know what? This is a problem. You're not doing what I say to do. You're not listening to me. I am your mother. I raised you. I carried you. I was in 19 hours of labor. All these different things. The God mentality, the spirit of pride comes up. And they feel like if you choose another path, then I'm going to turn against you and I'm going to reject you. Sort of what happened with Joseph or Potiphar's wife. In all of this, you may have all these examples are the things that I spoke to you about. Waiting in the wings to swoop in, coming in at your most vulnerable times, using that as a time to destroy. Also, because of the hardships and things that they're going through, they look at you as you are expendable. I raised you. I can do this to you. And also putting you in a position where others can come in and attack you. They will put you out there. These are a few traits of a jealous mother, trying to seduce those around you. And as the Holy Spirit is speaking, another way that they'll try to seduce is the whole thing about the seduction is not only just a sexual thing, and sometimes it's not, but they have a seducing spirit to try to seduce your loved ones. They will go around you to get to your kids. They will go around you to get to your friends and your co-workers. Because you see, they have a lack of respect for you. They don't care about you. But I want your life. So I will mistreat you and I'll do certain things. But I'm going to embrace your children. I'm going to embrace your friends. I'm going to embrace everyone around you so they can begin to trust me and see how great I am while I continue to snub you. These are many different ways that they can. A jealous mother, a jealous heart. It makes no sense. It doesn't make sense what they will be mad about. But jealousy is a spirit. It's an ugly spirit. You see, there are people who are in prisons right now. There are people that's behind bars, and there's people in the grave because of the spirit. And so what happens is these mothers will act this way. So seduce, whether sexually or through trying to gain the trust and the hearts of those around you, to include your children. They will try to upstage you. They want to take your moment of accomplishment, make it their own, not as a proud mother, but as simply to make it their own, to upstage and to outshine and to advise you to do things that is not right. The power of influence. If she feels a jealous mother, when she does not have that power of influence over you, she will reject you. And overall, this is not God's way. The Lord has me really bring this to somebody because they need to hear it. Because there are things that you're seeing and you felt like you're crazy. And the thing about this type of a mother is that she will always be portraying herself to be something different to the world. So you seem to be even more crazy. She will be very different with each of her children. There's going to be one that's going to be the favorite, perhaps. Or a couple that's the favorite. But she pours out her venom in different increments, so that nobody really has a point of reference to say we're all experiencing the same thing, because she's going to be different. The spirit is very strategic, so that you guys can't really make full comparisons on things, because you're experiencing things at different degrees, if at all. So you'll always doubt one another. What, she did that to you? Nah, I know she does this, but she doesn't go that far. But she does go that far with this one. But the idea of the spirit is that you will be lost by yourself, feeling that you're alone in that type of thing. You have no one else to say, she did this to me too. There have to be some variations, and this is the way that she keeps herself intact. The spirit operates through her in this manner. Jealous mothers are often people that either they were overindulged as a child or they did not get it. And so what happens is it opens a room. Sometimes they can become jealous because they were given too much, and so they become entitled, or they were given too little. And so they have children and they have their own ideas of how you're going to be. And because sometimes they even feel entitled because of the things that they went through, they have a God mentality that you're supposed to do. They see their children as servants and stepping stones to the next level. They behave in a way that it really comes from an unclean spirit that drives them to do certain things that's very manipulative, very deceiving, and they're always within their hearts. There is a, if you can see what's in their head and in their heart, you'll be horrified. The spirit of jealousy is a very dangerous one, even if it is in the form of your mother. And it's time for some of you to go before God and make decisions that He's been telling you to make, things to do. You never want to sit back and hate your mother and think the worst of her, no matter what she may have done. These are the hurts and the pains that you turn to God and you let Him help you. But whatever He tells you to do, obey Him. Obey Him. God is opening up many of you guys' eyes to what's going on. And I'm here to let you know, you are not insane and you are not crazy. The Lord has let it in my heart to share with you that yes, you see that spirit of jealousy and that evil in your mother, but you don't want to see it because you love her. You don't want to believe she's jealous because it is ridiculous to think that she is jealous. But the fact is, she is. There are things in you that she sees that she wish she was able to do, or at one point in her life she wanted to go this path, but perhaps pain, disappointment, hurts, things that happen caused her to recoil in a way and lock her heart away in a place where somehow the powers of darkness entered in. You see, it doesn't matter how swept and garnished someone looks on the outside. The enemy is looking at those empty spaces, the empty places where God is not, because of unforgiveness, because of malice, because of trauma, because of pain, areas that's left unattended. It's not filled with the Spirit of God. It's not filled with the Word of God, not the right way. And so therefore what happens is it gives room to the Spirit to enter in and to begin to work through that mother against the daughter. Because what that spirit wants to do, it wants to infiltrate you so you can take that same behavior and habits onto your kids. You will do that to your daughter. But God is saying the buck stops there. You burn that bridge and you take authority over that spirit. It will not take root in your life. A lot of times the person who have done some things throughout your childhood and then you're beginning to discover things, now they want to that spirit that operates in them wants to now capture and sort of go through your kids. And the way they do it is, I must seem to be a certain way to the children so at some point I can turn them against the daughter. It is time to take authority over the spirit in the name of Jesus. Some of you may be in positions where you're like, Lord, I don't know what to do. Everybody's convinced. You begin to pray. You need to get down on your knees. Some of you have to fast because this is an unclean spirit. And if you're in a position to make decisions, ask the Lord to guide you and you make those choices. It is an unclean spirit. If you think about a person that was wielding a machete, you will be quick to get your kids out of there. You're not going to be like, oh, well, no. It is the same thing. You must see sin in any capacity that way. As a crazy person wielding a machete, trying to hack away at everybody. That's what sin is to any degree and in any form. And if you find that they are not willing to make amends and to admit some things and to come clean and to heal and to move forward, you have no choice but to save yourself and your seed. How you go about that, I cannot tell you how to do that. But I can direct you to the Word. I can direct you to listen to the voice of the Holy Spirit and to the things that He has told you to do before you heard this video. But the only thing I had to say today is that there is such a thing as a jealous mother. It is a jealous and unclean spirit that entered into their life at some point. And because they've taken on a God-like mentality, having conceived and carried you and delivered you and raised you, they have an entitled spirit. They don't see you as an individual. You are my child. You do what I say. I am above you. But this is not the way of God. We are to honor our mother and our fathers, that our days may be long. But I'm here to tell you, honoring them does not mean you are a sacrifice. It does not mean that you're walked all over and destroyed. Because God has a purpose for you that goes outside of familial bonds and ties. You are not crazy. You're not crazy. It's just in my heart to tell you, you are not crazy. You have seen things the way that it is, from you were a child to an adolescent, to a teenager, to an adult. What you saw is what you saw. Your mother, some of you, your mother is being utilized by an unclean spirit, because in order for the spirit to operate, it is because there are errors in her life and in her heart that is unyielded to God. And so because of that, that spirit can enter in and is now tormenting you. And it is now playing peekaboo, na with you, because nobody else can see what you see. But it doesn't matter that nobody else can see what you see. God has shown it to you. He has revealed it to you. Now you seek him out on what you need to do in this hour and in this time and in these last days to move ahead and allow him to heal you by the power of the Holy Spirit. All right, guys, sorry for the length of the video, but I had to put it out there. All right, bye.